3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a great day as we talk about the sexiest position in the NFL, the hog mollies, and specifically we're going to be talking about the offensive interior. And these are my rankings post Senior Bowl. And by the way, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I'll be giving you my top 10 breakdown in this video, but you can catch my top 20 on my Twitter. Follow link in the description. I promise I'm a really good follow. But real quick, special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. When you use promo code Broshmo, when you sign up, then they will match your first deposit anywhere up to $100. But that ain't it. For new and existing users, they got a nice special for the big game as the Chiefs and the Eagles battle for supremacy in the NFL. You could maybe make a few dollars here and there with their pick'em entries, and they will give you a free square in the form of a Jalen Hurts higher than 0.5 yards. Not half bad. So that's for new and existing users. So go ahead, check that out. But remember, my friends, bet responsibly. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker with number 10, Ricky Stromberg out of Arkansas, coming in at a 6'3", 315. He has been, I think the last couple of years, has played center there for Arkansas. Had a very good season where he only allowed 11 pressures and no sacks. He was very good at the Shrine Bowl as well, as he showed himself to be powerful and stout in the one-on-one drills. And I think ideally you're going to be using this cat probably in like a gap blocking scheme, or maybe like an inside zone blocking scheme, because I think he uses inside leverage very well. And we'll pull him up here. I got him as an early day 3 pick. He plays with a nasty demeanor, man, and the NFL just loves guys with this type of demeanor. Like, you see that guy? I'm about to put him 6 feet under. They like that. They really do. He's very physically imposing at the point of attack. He shows good pop in the hands. He understands blocking angles as well and does a great job of climbing to the second level. He's actually got pretty decent feet, and he just never stops churning. I say this in like any of these rankings videos, that one of my favorite things about really any position is when on contact, guys just keep moving their feet. I love it. I love it. Coaches and teammates, they rave about this guy's work ethic and leadership, and he may play with a lot of physicality, but sometimes he does bend a bit at the waist against stronger interior players. He could probably do a better job with getting consistent leverage, and sometimes he does overextend a bit and becomes a bit of a lunger, as you hear that saying. They kind of overextend, get their head out in front of their feet, and it kind of causes them to lunge when they go in to initiate contact, especially if that's on the move. Penalties have been a bit of a struggle. 18 through his career coming into this season, and then he had 5 on the year. But I'm a big fan of a Stromberg. On to number 9, as it's Antonio Mafi. I gotta learn how to say that without the N between the A and the N, or the A and the T, excuse me. Out of UCLA, he's a big boy at 6'3", 334. He had actually a pretty good Shrine week, as well as he moves exceptionally well. Former rugby player, by the way, if you didn't know that. He is the cousin of former, you might remember him, former UCLA tight end, Devin Asiasi, who was drafted, I think it was the 3rd round by the Patriots, like in 2020. Yeah, it was 2020. So, anywho, we could go over a few like noteworthy things throughout his career. He tore his ACL in his season, and he still went on to go attend UCLA, and he actually started 9 games his freshman year. Fun fact, though, was at nose tackle. This guy used to play on the defensive side of the football. In 2019, he started 5 games at nose tackle, but became more of a rotation player as the year finished. And it was 2020 when he made the transition to the offensive line. He made 3 starts at guard and played in every game in 2021, but he hit a weight program to shed some pounds to basically contend as a starter, and came in and played exceptionally well at left guard for UCLA. This dude is stupid strong at that size. You better be. And he moves very well in vertical sets. He moves defenders at will. I was very impressed with him in his pass sets. And again, this dude's far from perfect in terms of his technique, but he has a good feel for pressure and what's essentially just going on around him. He provides a very strong anchor and looked honestly really good in his first full year as a starter there at UCLA this past season. And I think he's a very interesting guy to be able to develop. That's why I got a 4th round grade. Initially it was early day 3. I kind of bumped it up, especially like this interior class isn't going to like blow a lot of people away on day 2. That's not true. Early day 2 is real nice, but regardless, the big question is the weight problem. He shedded 70 pounds prior to the 2022 season, and it'll be fair to ask, can he maintain that? Like, can he maintain that weight? Or weight issue is going to be a thing in the NFL. Now, moves well for his size, but sometimes he does get caught dragging the feet a little bit, and not the most flexible interior player. But fun fact, when it comes to the interior offensive line, it's probably the place where athleticism matters the least. Unless we're talking about kickers and punters, which that's not necessarily true. Those guys gotta be flexible, but his hand placement could be better. Doesn't always hold onto blocks. He's got the grip strength. He's got the power to do so. I think a lot of his stuff is just like technique and just better understanding the position. Keep in mind, he didn't make the transition till 2020 to the offensive side of the ball, but he's a very intriguing prospect. Came in with fairly decent measurements as well when it came to his arms. But yeah, big fan. Number 8, I got Olusegun Oluwatimi out of Michigan. Former Virginia player, by the way. Got to give him a little shout out, being my home state that I often don't like to talk about because I'm not a fan of Virginia. Couldn't tell you why, but they say it's for lovers. I say love sucks. Anywho, he played, he was initially enrolled at Air Force, but didn't see any action. Decided to transfer to Virginia, where he had to sit out because of transfer rules. In 2019, he started every game there at center for the Cavaliers. And then 2020, started 10 games. 2021, started every game. He was a finalist for the Remington Award, and then came on over to Michigan and played exceptionally well, and here he is. I think he's got good power when on the move. Like, I think he has better than you would expect movement skills. He presents a very good wide base there at 6'2", 308. Gets out of his stance pretty quick. Good pop in his hands, and can move guys against his will. Like this, I think a lot of people's questions when it comes to like you think he's powerful, and it's like I think he's got problems with his anchor in pass sets. At least that was something that was like a little noticeable at the Senior Bowl. I think for the most part he did a very, very good job, but probably more so setting his anchor and then being able to properly reset when he has to. I think were some of the things I was like, okay, that's kind of fair. It'd be nice to see him use his hands a bit more independently. Like he knows how to use them in unison, but when you're there at center, you got a lot more things. Especially this is more so in pass protection, but a lot more things you kind of got to know, and being able to get even a hand on somebody who's breaking free from maybe not that's something that's not your assignment. Being able to get your hands and even buy your quarterback this much more time is kind of essential. So I'd like to see him use his hands a bit more independently in that regard. But I like this guy, man. He can get moving in an instant. I think he can play in a variety of different schemes there. He can get out in front of screens. Like legit, the dude can move. Can he play anywhere other than center? I got my questions just because he's played center his whole career for the most part. He might essentially be a center only prospect. Sorry, hit the mic there, is what it is. But I think I think at the end of the day he'll be fine. I got him as a kind of this late day 2, 4th round type of pick. And then Joe Tipman out of Wisconsin, as T-Pain once says, coming in at 6'6", 320. Big fan of this cat. He's kind of the slow starter, right? Like last 2 years, he's come out of the gate slow and looked like he's got like penalty problems, and then he really like kind of reins it in and just looks a lot more calmer. It's kind of weird. He started last year like that for Wisconsin. I think he had like 6 penalties last year. Was it? Here, I could check real quick. It was 3 penalties last year. Only 3. I think they probably came early on, but this season, 4 of his 6 penalties came within like I think the first 3 games. But this dude's got exceptionally good movement skills. Really does. Like, he can overwhelm guys with pretty heavy hands, but he can scoot to boot. Like, quick feet. He's very stout at the point of attack. He maintains a very, very wide base after initial contact. I like the burst off the snap. I love the speed he recovers with. And a cat that is really starting to polish off his game. I got him as a top 100. There are times you do wonder about, he's 6'6", he's going to deal with leverage problems in the NFL, especially when it comes to the interior. But I think he's a flexible enough guy to where he'll be able to sink low. He's just at 6'6", he's going to be consistently fighting the leverage issue. Next on the list, we got Luke WYPLER out of Ohio State. Got another top 100 grade on this cat. He decided to declare early, but played center there all of his snaps for Ohio State. He won the center job back in 2021. He's been a 2-year starter, and I think he's done a very good job. Listen, this dude at 6'3", 300 pounds, his game's just not sexy. It's just not. Like, he's very technically sound. He won't really lose a rep. He presents a wide base. He can consistently stonewall guys. He shows quick feet. He can get out, like, he can get out there in space. He shows quickness and pass protection. He does a good job of picking on blitzes, stunts. Coaches praise this guy's character, his work ethic. It's just there's not many instances in that Ohio State scheme of where he really needs to get up and get moving, whether it is horizontally or vertically. So there might be questions like, can this guy function maybe in an outside blocking scheme? There's not very many, and we know the NFL, a lot of teams are using those wide zone blocking schemes, but also like you just never saw him really have to go to the second level a ton. Doesn't mean he can't do it. It's just something we didn't really see. We also didn't really see that kind of killer mentality when it comes to finishing guys in the NFL, or finishing guys at the college level that the NFL really likes. I didn't really see that. So really, you got questions about his range. Again, you're not really going to be able to showcase that in Ohio State's scheme at the center position. But ultimately, he's a very solid, if not very solid, just not very exciting prospect. All right, on to Andrew VORHEES. Got him as top 75. Really sucks he couldn't go to the Senior Bowl because he was a little banged up, but he's a 6-year player, and he's been one of the best offensive linemen for USC the past few seasons. He is, again, 6-year senior, 6'6", 325. He's one of my favorite players in the draft. I really was high coming on him. I was really high coming into the draft on him, and the guy's just very good. He understands the game of football. He knows how to be at the right place at the right time. He's played all over the line, whether he played times at left tackle there, I think back in 2021, and looked really good. Moved back to guard. He mainly played right guard for the most of his career, but I believe he played left guard this season. He was hoping to make the Senior Bowl, but he got banged up in the I think it was the game before the season finale. So it was like the 11th game of the season. So he was hoping to like rehab and get well before, so he could go to the Senior Bowl. That didn't happen. So we'll see this cat at the combine. But man, dude, he moves well. He would have been a day two player in the 2022 draft. Decided to stick around and because he wanted to see that Trojan team he'd been with for so long succeed, and they just came short. They just did. He's smooth. He understands his blocking assignments. You see this guy pick up on other guys' failed assignments. He's very aware of his surroundings and understands. Especially in like the run game, he understands landmarks, where he needs to be. I think he could probably play in a variety of different schemes. He is a bit on the older side, but I think he's kind of ready. He's ready. He is a prospect you could plug in today. He will suffer from the tall man problem. You'll be concerned about his leverage, and you will see sometimes in pass sets where he will concede ground immediately, but he's very good at resetting everything. So Andrew Voorhees, I'm hoping he performs well at the combine. All right, on to Cody Mock. Moved him to my interiors because I think that's where the NFL is going to see him playing. He's there at 6'5", 305. He's got closer to 32-inch arms, which is probably why I don't see him playing tackle in the NFL, despite playing tackle all last year for a very run-heavy scheme there in North Dakota. But I think he's a solid prospect. People are falling in love with this guy's movement skills. His senior bowl week, there were ups, there were downs. Like for the most part, I thought it was solid. He showcased what he needed to, but he also showed that he will be a guy that might take a year to really get acclimated to the game of the NFL. But again, this dude's a smooth athlete. You love his feet. He knows how to take on or at least absorb contact. There were those moments at the Senior Bowl where now he's facing better talent, and to be fair, the defensive line class I think is relatively solid, especially the edge class. And you did see him lose initially, concede some ground, but he packs a mean punch. He can be a mover in the run game, and I thought he did good in run fits here and there. Again, it was a very uneven performance from Mock, but considering the level of competition, the step up in the level of competition, and what you saw in terms of the movement skills and him just literally shuffling all over the line. People, they're going to try to make this cat out to be a player that's capable of playing all 5 positions. I think he probably ends up there at guard, though. But he's very quick at his stance. He sinks his hips very quick, provides a solid anchor for the most part back there in his North Dakota State film. He brings in loads of experience, and we'll see. He's again a good dude that's gonna take a minute to get acclimated to the NFL. There were times on his North Dakota State tape, the Bisons, by the way. Couldn't remember that one in the last video, but the Bisons on their film, that he was a bit of you would see him bend at the waist, which kind of indicates a lack of core strength. And when you get bent back, then you're gonna shift your head down low to try to get back. It's kind of like doing I've said this before, it's kind of like doing sit-ups. You put your chin down, try to motion yourself back up. And when you do that, you're just not in a good spot. You're trying to fight back, come back down, and then you just become very less aware of what's going on around you. And you really don't want to drop your head in that instant. And that was something you did see there at the Senior Bowl. So like I said, when it comes to this is a guy that can hit with pop. This is a cat that does move exceptionally well and could end up being a very, very solid player at the NFL level. It's just we got to take the wait and see approach as of right now. Next on the list is Steve Avila. He is a big boy at 6'3", 332, playing for that national championship contender in TCU. And he's played center in the past. This year he played guard, and he was exceptionally solid. And he went to the Senior Bowl, and he was like, well, I got people are looking at me like a top 100, top 75 guy. Well, shoot, man, this guy threw a freaking rocket to his back and was like, I'm top 50. I'm probably one of the best interior players in this class. And he proved as such, man. This dude moves exceptionally well, I would say, for a 330 pounder. Like, he's quick out of his stance. He shows quick feet in that with like short area quicks or out there on the move. He actually mirrors pretty well in pass protection. Raw power, that should be a given at 330. But yeah, he's stupid strong. So much of it is that upper body strength that he could legitimately bend defenders backwards. And we saw in the one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl, man, how strong, how quick he was out of his stance to get set, get ready, and just how stout. Like, you weren't moving this dude back whatsoever, man. He's stupid strong, incredible grip. I think he improved aspects of some of the concerns I had coming into the year, whether it was his technique. I thought he got better. He got cleaner at that. Leverage, I thought, was a little bit better this season, this past season. And really, the one thing you can't really judge at the Senior Bowl, except for in a real world. Or except for at the actual game, but even then, it's not like we're seeing very complex defenses or offenses be played by either team. But I think his awareness still has a bit of a ways to go. He's often a my assignment type of guy. That's kind of why he stood out in the one-on-ones. He is so used to playing the guy in front of him. He doesn't often look to assist where he can. There are times where he'll miss stunts or delayed blitzes. So that's something you couldn't really get a look at the Senior Bowl, and it would probably be something he just has to get better at the next level. But in terms of the total package, he's got it. Freaking good week by Avila. And then we have John Michael SCHMITZ out of Minnesota. Another dude had a banger week at the Senior Bowl. There was 3 guys who were probably the scariest on the interior. It was John Michael SCHMITZ, Steve Avila, and then the guy I'm going to talk about at number 1. But I got John Michael SCHMITZ with the top 50 grade, 6'3", 360 pounds, played center for basically over the course of his whole career. And legit, he's one of the best centers. He was one of the best centers in college football. He's going to be the best center in this draft class, in my opinion. Because you look at Torrance probably a guard only. Steve Avila probably, yeah, he could play center, but I think he's probably better suited for guard. Then the guys after that, you got Cody Mock, who he's kind of learning how to play interior. Andrew VORHEES, who really never played center. He played both sides of the line, but at guard and tackle. It's Luke WYPLER's that next guy up, along with like a Joe Tippmann or a Oluwada Timmy. So if you're like in desperate need for interior help, particularly maybe the center position, you might pull the trigger on this guy exceptionally early, knowing you probably won't find that till late day 2. But I mean, I think he could play guard as well. I really do. Like, he's got very good strength, plays with good physicality. He's got that nasty demeanor the NFL loves. He's just a bad time for defenders all game long. He shows very good grip strength. He's shown good footwork, good contact balance. Just like he's a guy that drives through his legs in the run game. He's very good at the point of attack, man. Like, a lot of his game, you look, is pretty natural for really a variety of different schemes. And just a big fan. He's feisty, man. I really, really like him. He's a bit older, 6-year senior, but that's all right. He's probably ready to start now. Now, I will say, it's not like he's overtly strong. Like, there are times in college where when occasionally you're facing those freaks at like Ohio State, you got thrown around a little bit. He's a natural mover. I wouldn't really say he's got like those high end, top end quicks and whatnot. You just look at John Michael Schmitz and you're like, that's just a hell of a football player. Really is true. And number one, everyone knew this sucker was coming as it's O'Cyrus Torrence. He had a solid Senior Bowl. It was kind of a rough start. Not even a rough start, but he came, like, weigh-ins came in looking 10 pounds thinner, 6'5", 337. First day was kind of like, yeah, it's ups, it's downs. But then I thought after that, he was just phenomenal the rest of the week. He sold me on him being a top 20 pick in the draft. Like, if a team takes him in the early teens, it wouldn't shock me at this point. Like, he was super impressive, almost 34-inch arms, and he can't, like, I love that this is a dude that was coming from 3 years playing at Louisiana. He follows his coach over to Florida, takes the biggest step up in competition as you can as you dip into the SEC. And then he showed he was probably the best offensive lineman in the SEC. Just super impressive, man. This guy's got a sturdy build. He's strong, great length, stupid power in his frame, absorbs contact. Like, are you even trying? Are you trying to push me, bro? All right. He's improved as a pass protector each and every year, with last year being his finest. And I don't know if you remember, step up in competition. Kind of just said that a minute ago, but best year as a pass protector. And it came up when you were facing the best of the best. Because let's be honest, the SEC, best conference in football. It's true. He does a good job with his movement skills, too. I think he does a good job climbing to the second level. And he's just a great prospect. If we want to really nitpick, I threw a red flag up here because he was a cat that in junior high, he was up to 420. And he had to cut down an extraordinary amount of weight. He was on a very specific dietary plan. Obviously, weight has not been an issue throughout his whole collegiate career, but it's just something that should be on the radar, but I don't take high consideration in if I want to be like, you know, we really do need a guard, like, desperately. It's kind of the final piece of the puzzle on this offense. But this guy had weight problems his junior year of high school. I'm like, and? Oh, you said he's been down all 4 years in college? Okay, I don't care then. Like, Torrence is a dude that we have seen. Like, he's got discipline. He's a guy that's raved about by Billy Napier, who's coached him literally all 4 years of his collegiate career. But that would be, I would say that's something that might be in the back of your minds, or like back of any team mind that drafts and be like, okay, let's just make sure this guy stays on, you know, a dietary plan, you know, keep him in the best shape that we can. There are times he will not sink low well enough. Like, he isn't the most fluid athlete, but still a very solid athlete, not the most flexible guy. And at 6'5", yeah, you're gonna have a tougher time sinking and getting consistent leverage. But again, these are kind of few and far between. If I really want to nitpick, sometimes he turns into a lunger at the second level. But again, we're talking few and far between. O'Cyrus Torrence is a banger of a prospect. But that's it for the video. Remember, go to Twitter. You could see 11 through 20 on my Twitter. I promise I'm a good follow. I love trolling. It's real fun. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.